GMGP, good morning, good people. Y'all could have been anywhere in the world, but y'all decided to wake up with us. You're sick. You're sick in the head. There's a lot of fantasy football shows out there, but I promise y'all, they not like us. Brock Bowers, you looked a little quicker than fast. What does that even mean? Redraft, Dynasty, best ball, high stakes, we got you covered.
And that's MVS and Justin Watson.
With some of the dopest tools designed to help you cancel out the noise and dominate your leagues.
If there's a white wide receiver named Antoine, sign me up.
Maybe it's cultural. I don't know. In season or off season, rain, sleet, hail, and snow,
comma, semicolon, period, next sentence.
To bring you the most actionable and entertaining content on YouTube. You don't go buy the dip on the Titanic.
Quarterback that you love, D-Bro. One of the best values in fantasy football.
Prop bets with my man JRich.
Is that yes! Let's go!
So wipe the crust out of your eye, get you a cup of coffee. It's time to wake y'all asses up with Ray
and Jay
in the morning.
My God.
How good is
Dude.
he? How good is he? GMGP. It is Wednesday, October 15, 2025. Y'all decided to wake y'all asses up with myself and my dog, my brother from another mother. Y'all know who it is, the double down, triple down king himself, Jordan Richards in the building. JRich, I don't got my sounder. I can't hit the air horns, but we got you in the building. I am live. Florida, man. We out here, a little vacation with the family, so if you hear kids and shit like that in the background, it is what it is, baby. It's like one of them Zoom calls. You know what I'm saying? You got kids walking in while you're trying to interview for that job. We here, we at the beach, but I could not miss another day. We got a lot to talk about. Yeah, it's Vacay Ray. It's Vacay Ray in the building. What's going down with y'all, man? Bathroom stream? No. We're in a cottage out here in Florida, so still wanted to do the show for y'all good people. A little late. Working on some audio stuff. We're not at the same home setup, so bear with us today. We still gonna have a damn good show. JRich, what's going down, big dog?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It was funny. So for the people, obviously, we are a little bit late. Had to do some audio testing. Hopefully, this should be the best case scenario for the show. Keep it simple, but definitely wanted to do our 10 loves and hates for Week 7. It was a good week of football, though, Ray, and I think the bigger thing here, besides the injuries, which obviously we will get to, your Dodgers, man, they're looking good. I don't know if you've been watching, but
I'm looking for the button to press the air horns for my Dodgers, but no, I have none for them, but my Dodgers are absolutely getting it done. You know, I'm a big-time MLB fan. That's my squad. That's my team getting it done versus Milwaukee. Those Brewers don't stand a chance, baby. They don't stand a chance, JRich.
I mean, when your starting pitchers go 17 innings and only allow 4 hits, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to beat the Dodgers. Now they head back to L.A. You know, Zach wants to talk about the Patriots. I mean, you know, we won't talk about the Patriots, but they do got the Titans this week, so we're feeling good. But, Ray, you know, the people are making fun of you a little bit with the new setup, but give my man some grace. He's on vacation with the fam. He's trying to do a show for you, the people. But, Ray, let's not waste your time and the family's time. Do you want to get straight into the injuries, or do you want to get straight into the love-hate?
We got to talk injuries. I mean, we weren't here on Monday. We didn't get a chance to discuss what happened on Sunday, and we'll talk through some of that in our love hates. But let's get into some injuries. These are big injuries, man, that we're seeing across the NFL and fantasy football landscape. So let's get into it. What we got?
Yeah, so we will kick it off with my favorite piece of news, which is not injury related, but we will touch on it briefly. It happened, Ray. Brian Callahan canned. No more for the Tennessee Titans. Cam Ward has a new head coach. It's about time. For people who know me and watch the show frequently, I've been calling for this for a while. So we'll see if it makes any changes in Tennessee. Probably not, because they stink. But Brian Callahan is finally fired, and they will be looking for a new head coach this season. Ray, what's crazy is that this is, I think, the 4th first-round pick in a row that was a quarterback that the head coach got fired mid-season of that quarterback's rookie season. Trevor Lawrence, Caleb Williams, Cam Ward, and I forget who the other one was. But yeah, the 4th time in a row that the head coach has been fired mid-season for a first overall quarterback. But in terms of the injuries, Chris Godwin and Bucky Irving for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers already ruled out. Love that for my Tez Johnson shares late in my Dynasty rookie draft.
Cameron Johnson. Maybe it's the other Johnson.
Well, yeah, the other Johnson I'd legit never heard of until this week. We got Emeka Puka also out. We don't know officially how long he's going to be out, but I believe it's a hamstring injury, and a lot of people were expecting week 10 is the return for him. Marvin Harrison Jr., concussion. We don't know what his status is going into this week. Probably going to miss, though. Happens very frequently with the concussion. The biggest one by far, Puka Nacua, your wide receiver one. Ankle injury. We don't have the diagnosis on Puka just yet as to how long he's going to be out, but hopefully not too long. But maybe if you have Devontae Adams, probably looking pretty good for your Devontae Adams shares. Garrett Wilson's going to miss a couple of weeks with a hyperextension in his knee. Now, it wasn't as bad as it could have been, but definitely going to be out a few weeks for him. Calvin Ridley also probably going to be out this week. David Njoku also potentially going to miss this week. Great for your Harold Fannin shares. But in some positive news, George Kittle, hopeful to be back this week for the 49ers. And Pete Carroll said it may be best long-term to keep Brock Bowers out for week 7 as well. The Las Vegas Raiders do have a week 8 bye, so that would mean a week 9 return for Brock Bowers and basically half of a missed season with the way he's played so far. Which of these do you want to touch on, if any of them?
I mean, I kind of want to touch on everybody in this one. It's unfortunate, the news with Godwin. It just, sometimes those players returning from injury, they work out in your favor. For me, y'all know on the show, I've faded all the wide receivers, all the players coming off of debilitating injuries in the season before. Tough for Godwin, tough for Bucky, Irving. The Garrett Wilson one, I mean, Jay, I'm not going to lie to you.
Don't smile, bro.
I didn't see the play. No, I'm not smiling because I actually traded for him 2 weeks ago. Now, I traded Bucky Irving to get him and some other stuff, and now both of them are hurt. But how much is that knee hurting, and how much is Garrett Wilson just fed up with what's happening in New York? We'll talk about that in a little bit. Kittle coming back, I'll just say this. Jake Tonjes is a top 12 tight end right now. He's a top 12 tight end at the moment. If it were Kittle, he'd probably be tight end 1 right now. That's the type of usage and how good Kittle. I just hope they're not rushing him back. I hope they're not rushing him back because Tonjes has done enough to fill in admirably for George Kittle. I hope they're not rushing him back. Ridley, does it even really matter in Tennessee? Does it really matter? I don't think so. Puka Nacua was the scary one because I thought a bunch of stuff was messed up. He fell on his – I thought it was his shoulder, right? I thought it was his damn shoulder. And then they were saying it's his ankle. So here we go with that. And then, listen, man, if it ain't one thing, it's another from Marvin Harrison Jr. We get Kyler Murray out of the picture. Jacoby Brissett comes in. It's supposed to be better for him. And then he gets concussed. What do you have? 2 catches, 30 yards in the game, and then he's out?
Yep.
If it ain't one thing, it's another for Marv. So unfortunate for him. Don't really care if Ridley's is out. He's done nothing. I think he's averaging like 7 points per game this season. Yeah. Just injuries are just piling up across the board in the league this year.
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy. But yeah, even for Ridley, right? They got the Patriots this week, so he's going to see a lot of Christian Gonzalez probably, which, I mean, you're not expecting much from him in that matchup anyways. But yeah, it's tough because a lot of players producing, like, Bucky Irving was a very high drafted player. Obviously, Puka drafted very high. Garrett Wilson, people were riding that high, even though Justin Fields has been downright terrible. And, we'll see if he ultimately gets benched later in the year. It's not going to be this week, at least according to Aaron Glenn. But there's a ton of injuries. I mean, even Bowers, right? And you talked about Tonjes. Like, I hope, honestly, for this 49ers team, with how many injuries they have at the wide receiver position, I hope he doesn't go away. Like, he's been good enough that they should find ways to utilize him in the offense still. And, of course, his plays are going to go to Kittle, and the plays where he's making are going to go back to Kittle again. But I think, with how much this team wants to run the football and is still trying to run the football despite their lack of success, Christian McCaffrey finally getting in the end zone this week was great for people who own him. I think that Tonjes should be available, but yeah, if you still have him, I wouldn't necessarily plan on starting him this week. Let me look to see who they have. Oh, they have the Falcons.
They got the Falcons. Falcons.
Which Falcons team is going to show up, right? That's the number one question with the Falcons right now. But we'll see what happens with Tonjes and especially that 49ers team, because I think that we are expecting Brock Purdy to be back this week. That game is also in Santa Clara.
I didn't know that. Brock's back this week? I didn't know Brock was back.
No confirmation, but I think based off of kind of what I've been reading, what I've been seeing, it seems like he's trending towards trying to come back this week. But again, we probably won't know until Friday or at least later in the week what ultimately becomes of the starting quarterback position for the 49ers. But I think at this point, why do we really even care, right? Both have been more than serviceable. And I think in some people's cases, for fantasy purposes, you probably actually want Mac Jones with how he's been playing.
Matt came back to earth a little bit on Sunday. 2 interceptions,
sure.
was pressured quite a bit by Tampa Bay. Some ill-advised plays by Mac Jones. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that offense. But let's get into those 10 things. 10 things we love, hate going into week 7. And Jay, I talked about this yesterday with Harmon on the Yahoo show. If y'all don't pull up every Tuesday, 5 p.m. Eastern, Matt Harmon and I do the data dump, talking all things sort of data-wise, our 5 biggest data points going into Week 7. But this was my lead on Yahoo, Jay, and I wanted to get your opinion on this one because we have yet to talk about it. But one of the things that I absolutely love going into Week 7, Patrick Mahomes in this Kansas City Chiefs offense, Jay. Patrick Mahomes in this Kansas City Chiefs offense going into Week 7. And the reason why I bring him up is because it feels like he's doing this quietly. This is the number 1 scorer at the position. He's the number 1 overall scoring quarterback right now, and he's doing it with no running game, none. It's him.
He is the running game.
At least they committed to Pacheco a little bit. They gave him 12 carries. Kareem Hunt got 6. So they continue to chop wood, right? They're not really going far. Pacheco's not going to get 20, 30 touches, but at least they're trying. But he's the running game. And offensively, I'm listening to the broadcast, and they were saying that they were talking to Chiefs players, and they were talking about how much they felt better about this team opposed to the team that went to the Super Bowl last year. And I'm listening to that.
Really? Okay.
Bullshit. I was like, there's no way. This is bullshit. Then you start looking around. Number 1 in total yards, number 1 in passing touchdowns, the fastest quarterback in NFL history to 300 combined passing touchdowns in the regular season and in the postseason. And here's the big kicker for Mahomes. What has been his Achilles heel, his bugaboo the last 2-3 years? What has everybody cited that he is not doing, he cannot do? And the biggest problem with Mahomes, pushing the ball downfield.
Pushing the ball down the field.
He's got his best yards per attempt since 2018 here in 2025. He's launching it down the field. His passer rating is the best since 2022, and he's doing it without Rashee Rice. He's done it majority of the season without Xavier Worthy. He's got this version of Travis Kelce, who, to his credit, looks a little more spry this year. He looks a little more spry here in 2025, and there are probably a billion reasons why. He's got a lot of newfound energy and rejuvenation in his body. He's probably feeling pretty good, right? A lot of stuff going well for the Kelces and the Swifts out there, but he's playing good football right now. And Mahomes was that guy that a lot of people weren't saying. They were saying he's not a top option. He's not a top quarterback. Remember all the narrative about Mahomes? He's fallen off, not the same. It's downhill from there. We talked about it at the end of last year when they lost that Super Bowl. I was like, you're going to get an F-it season from Mahomes where he's just like, let's go. And right now, this offense, the lack of a true running game, the lack of a true number 1 option, and they get Rashee Rice back at home this week against Las Vegas. How could you not love what's happening in Kansas City, man?
Yeah, Ray, you hit all the points I was making last week, right, when we had that little debate. So where are you at on Dallas versus Kansas City going forward? Because I said I would take Kansas City, and you said I was just pulling a name out of the sky because it was the only team I could think of because it's Reed and Mahomes. But it seems like maybe, just maybe, after that stinker this week from your Cowboys, you may be coming around.
We're not talking about the Cowboys. Why are you talking? We're not talking about Dallas. Dallas's offense is dope. Dallas is still a top 5. We'll get to Dallas in a minute. We're talking KC right now. We're talking KC and giving Mahomes his flowers for playing like a damn MVP. I know they're 3-3. They're 3-3 on the season.
But they're going to go on a run. We saw it against Detroit. The Chiefs are back. And if you think the Chiefs aren't back, I don't know what football you're watching, because this team is playing at a higher level than we've seen for many years. And you hit on it. We talked about how we thought we'd see pissed off Mahomes, pissed off Kelce, because last year they were trying to survive and win games. They are not doing that this year. They are taking it to teams. They're going for the kill shots. They are making big plays, and they are getting the return of arguably their best player on offense. And I don't know if you saw it, Ray, about 10 minutes ago, right before we went live, Rashee Rice put out his little hype video, the return.
I've been waiting to watch it. I can't watch it right now. I'll be distracted.
Oh, it got me so excited. I'm just like, Rashee Rice is back.
Rashee's my boy. Anybody that's been around, he's a trusted Trinity guy. I was a big-time fan of him coming out. We got to share. We broke bread together in an elevator at the Senior Bowl. He was hungry. Yep. I had some French fries there. I said, hey, Rashee, you probably don't need to be eating this, man. I need you ready for these Senior Bowl practices. But he said, Ray, my G, I just need a couple of fries. I said, I got you, big dog. I hit him up the other day And I told him, good luck. I'm going on vacation, Rashee, but go ball out this Sunday versus Las Vegas. So I've not got to check out my boy's hype video, but I will do that after the show, JRich. But I'm absolutely loving what we're seeing out of Kansas City right now.
Yeah, so do you think Rashee Rice goes right into the wide receiver 1 conversation week 1, and how do you think it impacts the other playmakers on that team?
So again, talked about this with Matt. I want to say yes. Say yes, but he hasn't been around for a couple. I would just say this. If he doesn't go out there and get 12 targets right out the rip, right out the gate, I wouldn't panic. The dude hasn't been there for 6 weeks of the NFL season. He was there throughout training camp, so it's not a true he missed all of camp because he held out. Then he missed the first 6 games because he was suspended. He was there all throughout training camp. He had some extra time to ramp up from his knee injury, which I'm glad that the suspension happened early. Yeah. Do I think he just slots in and he's just the wide receiver 1 right out the gate? Like, a lot of people are like, he's top 5 on the week. It's a great matchup versus Las Vegas. I want to say yes, but if it doesn't happen in his first game back, I'm not going to panic. I'm not going to be like, oh man, this shit was not worth it. He's a bum. I need to get, I'm not doing that. I'll give him some grace if it doesn't work out right away.
Yeah, so I think I'm not going to say counter to that, but the reason why I'm 100% fine starting him is he's scoring a touchdown this week, right?
I didn't say I wasn't fine starting him. I'm talking about just the expectation for where he finishes. Yes, if I have him, I'm playing him. There's no doubt about it. I was playing Xavier Worthy off of a shoulder injury. So, yeah, I'm playing Rice. I'm just talking about the high-end outcome that people expect. If we don't get wide receiver 5 in week 7, I'm not panicking on it,
For sure. And my whole point was that I think that there's a really good chance he scores a touchdown this week. And that's the reason why I think the wide receiver 1 conversation is very valid. It's like, this guy's been sitting on the couch for 6 weeks, watching his team suffer, watch this team deal with injuries, and he's been ready to go, or at least trying to be ready to go, but they forced him to sit. He obviously needed that time for his rehabilitation. And for us in fantasy, we're thankful for that. Hopefully he can hit the ground running. But like, with the hype building and the return and against Vegas, and like, Mahomes don't forget the Kermit the Frog jokes they were just making a couple of years ago about him. Like, this could be a beatdown in a bad way. And so that's where, the Rashee Rice wide receiver 1 conversation I think is interesting, because I think him being hungry, wanting to be back, Mahomes trying to show the league, I'm back once again after beating the Lions last week. Like, I think there's a really good chance he scored a touchdown this week. So I'm all in and absolutely agree with you on the love of Patrick Mahomes. But do you want to get into your first hate? Because it's a fun one, and it's an interesting one. So I'm excited for this one, because the people, I'm sure, are going to love it.
Well, so normally when we do the show, we go love, hate, love, hate, love, hate. We alternate. I'm about to make a little pivot, JRich. I'm about to make a little pivot. So I want you to move the next hate up. We're going to go hate, hate, because the two hates kind of flow into one another. So we're going to double hate. We're going to double hate right now. And one of the things, Jay, that I hate going into week 7 and beyond, and this is a conversation that I really, really want the people in the chat to, we're about to just talk some ball right here, okay? I hate the bad quarterback play this season, Jay. I hate the bad QB play, and a lot of this, I get it. It combines with head coach, offensive coordinator, talent around the player, but when you're looking at players like Justin Fields and what happened on Sunday, Cam Ward and what's going on during his rookie season, the upgrade that we all thought was going to be a Geno Smith and how bad that's failed the Las Vegas Raiders, Dylan Gabriel out there in Cleveland, and there are probably some other situations that I'm forgetting. Like, what do you do with these bad offenses that are also led by bad team infrastructure, bad coaching? Like, nothing is changing. Like, we're here in week 7. I don't believe a coaching change is going to make Cam Ward better this year. Nope. There's nothing that I think the Raiders are going to be able to do to help improve Geno Smith. At this point, Justin Fields is who he is. Like, let's just, like, it's so crazy to see people still, maybe Justin Fields it took him 5 years to get to the point to be like, well, maybe Fields is the problem. The stuff that's going on in Cleveland, you look at this, JRich, and then you look at the sort of upcoming quarterback class in 2026, right? I have been the biggest proponent of preaching patience, and, the QB class is okay. It's going to figure itself out. We had the battle of the projected number 1 overall picks on Saturday between Fernando Mendoza and Dante Moore. And then, like, if we're just being real, like, neither of them looked really – none of them looked
number
great
1 worthy
in the game. So when you're thinking about bad QB play this season, a projected 26 class where it doesn't look like – I like Lenore Sellers, JRich. The dude sacked on 20% of his damn dropbacks. You can't even I'm terrified of this pressure to sack ratio with these quarterbacks that consistently get sacked. I'm terrified of these sort of development. Do you really want to see Lenore Sellers in Las Vegas? Shout out to Jordan Reed. He put out a mock this morning, and I see bad QB play currently. Bad coach, bad environment, not an inspiring QB class. I start thinking about the Daniel Joneses, the Mac Joneses, the Darnolds, the Aaron Rodgers. Like, who's more likely to be around beyond this season? Because the reality is we're 7 weeks into the season. Some of y'all's fantasy teams are absolutely cooked. There's no shot you're making the playoffs in the next 6-7 weeks. So you're already looking ahead. What do? Do I buy a Daniel Jones? Do I buy a Mac Jones and pray he's the one that gets a starting nod somewhere, even if it's just for a season? Just collectively, I know I'm throwing a lot at you with the bad quarterback play this year. And I'm not here to dump on Cam Ward. I'm not trying to dump on, like, they have been bad. Regardless of what we think they've been bad this year. Like, what does all this kind of tell you from a talent perspective, the quarterback position in the NFL, upcoming through college? It just doesn't feel good, man.
Well, I'll say this, right? And we talked about this a lot, actually, back in the 2024 rookie class cycle. When Michael Penix went back and Bo Nix went back, we said, wow, like, this quarterback class is really, really loaded because those guys were projected in 2023. And so I think it's just a situation where you have a couple of draft classes kind of being pushed together. And then following that, it's like we're waiting for kind of the next line of another good quarterback class. And I think just 2024 really ruined the way we look at things. I mean, you look at Drake May, the way he's playing. Jaden Daniels is phenomenal quarterback, even though he's had his own struggles this season. Caleb Williams is getting it together in his second season. The only guy we're really concerned about, honestly, because Michael Penix was good as well, is JJ McCarthy. Right? Bo Nix, borderline rookie of the year candidate season. He struggled a bit this year, but we've seen the ups and downs from those guys already. So it's very interesting from that perspective. But, you bring up some of these rookies and you're like, man, some of the rookies were bad. Like, Caleb struggled. He took a ton of sacks, but the talent we saw on the field consistently, even if the results were extremely negative in the way that you view him. But, like, when you look at Gabriel, we're like, we kind of knew he wasn't going to be that good in the NFL. Cam Ward was a player that we heavily criticized because of his bad decision-making and his inability to stay away from danger in college, and it's showing its way at the NFL level. And can a coach ultimately take that out of him? Justin Fields, I mean, I don't need to say it. You guys are all seeing it on the field. He's not very good as a starting quarterback. But let's give credit to the players like Bryce Young who are turning it around, right? Tua Tagovailoa, very serviceable. But you brought up a player in Mac Jones. How could you not be confident right now that Mac Jones will be a starter next season? Like, the way that he's playing right now, he is number 1 in the NFL in passing yards per game. I don't care if it's on the 49ers. He's winning football games, and he's passing the football, completing 67% of his passes, 7.5 in attempts, 6 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, even off a bad game this week. Like, how can you say that the incoming quarterback class and the current rookie state quarterback class, even including Jackson Dart, should be starting ahead of Mac Jones in 2026? And I think the answer is you can't. And another player I'll throw out there, Ray, because no one wants to talk about him, is Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is not a good quarterback. But if what he's shown in Minnesota already is enough for me to say he's probably deserving of a camp invite on a team that needs a quarterback next season. Because he probably could potentially win a job, and maybe it's not going to be in Minnesota because they have JJ McCarthy, but like, he's another guy who's trying to rehab his image. And why wouldn't you take one of even a Carson Wentz over some of these rookies that are incoming? Because it's just the quarterback play is not good.
Because it's like the Carfax, man, right? Like, this car's been in an accident 3 times, and it's been repaired 3 times. They put a new transmission in it. And the shell might look okay, and then you start looking at the Carfax, and it's like, this thing's been in 3 accidents, right? It's been totaled twice.
But do you want to shoot for the Darnold and the Baker, or do you want to shoot for the next Tua?
I think most people would rather just take the black box and shoot for the next Tua. But when I'm looking at Fernando Mendoza and Garrett Wilson and Lenora Sellers and
Garrett
Dante
Nussmeier.
Moore, who I don't even think is going to be in this class, nor Ty Simpson. I think they're going to go back for 2027. In Dynasty, are you trying to make a move for Daniel Jones? Like, he's getting another deal. Right? There's no doubt. Like, Daniel Jones is getting another. Sam Darnold's on what, a 1-year deal in Seattle?
It's a
right now?
It's a 3-year deal, 1 year guaranteed. But if I'm Sam Darnold, I'm renegotiating after this season, 100%. He's going to, and he'll be up in the probably 40 a year, maybe even 45 a year. He'll probably get the contract they didn't want to give to Geno Smith. Right.
Listen, I know it doesn't sound. I know no one wants to hear it. If you're Pittsburgh, do you want to draft that Ty Simpson at pick 20, or would you roll with Aaron Rodgers for another year? It's just.
But you think about them. How is Mac Jones not a perfect fit for Pittsburgh?
Again, because the Carfax is bad, man. Right? Like that's why, Jay. That's why.
But that's what Tomlin's been doing. He's been getting the cast-offs, the players that no one wants, the Aaron Rodgerses, like the Justin Fields, the Russell Wilsons. He's still been winning football games, and I just don't know why you would change that philosophy based off the classes coming in, because we're looking at a Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, Jackson Dart class. We're looking at a Kenny Pickett, Will Levis type of class like coming in right now, at least the way it stands. And I think the sad part is that it's going to get hyped up. People are going to get excited, but that's not going to change what we've seen on the field, and that's just simply poor quarterback play. And especially when you talk about the holistics of the quarterback position, poor quarterback development as it stands to finding success at the NFL level.
Well, okay. Well, that's just thoughts on Fields and company moving forward, though, since we kind of talked about a lot of the kind of backup quarterbacks getting opportunity, Mac Jones and company. What is this it for Fields? Do you think this his third team that he got the chance to start for, does it finally end here in 2025?
That's a good question, because he's owed a lot of a lot of money. So if the Jets want to eat his $22 million dead cap next season, then it's over. But maybe there's a world where he does start for them somehow next season. But I don't know any team that would take on Justin Fields outside of maybe Mike Tomlin, because maybe Mike Tomlin would take him back, but not for the cap hit he currently has. But this Field signing is one of the biggest blunders the Jets have made in a while, because they're 0-6. Ray, when are they going to win a football game?
It just shows talent is one thing, but you have to have the right infrastructure. You've got to have the right OC. You have to have the right playmakers. And I know that seems like, you got to have all these things in order for the quarterback to be successful. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, unless you are Patrick Mahomes. And we'll talk about some MVP caliber quarterbacks that are struggling right now because the stuff around them isn't very good. But let's get into some love, JRich. We knocked out 2 hates right there. Let's show some love. And I looked at this kind of in depth because I was like, man, is this going to continue once the big dog gets back? And the big dog that I'm talking about is CeeDee Lamb. But the player that we're loving going into week 7, man, George Pickens. The breakout is here. The Trinity, the usage that he had in Pittsburgh, the usage that he's currently getting right now with the Dallas Cowboys. This is my bold prediction coming into the year, Jay, was Pickens was going to be a top 20 wide receiver. I was like, man, this dude's going to be a top 20 asset, a weekly high-end wide receiver too. And I was right, but so wrong, because he's much better than that. He's the damn wide receiver 3 per game, JRich. And I looked at where he's scoring his routes. I went and looked at, got some good data from True Media. He's scoring his fantasy points on the routes that CeeDee Lamb did not score fantasy points on last year. It's out routes. He's caught 0 screen plays on the season, 0. Lamb was top 5 in screen scoring last year at the position. He's not doing much down the field. He's only got 3 receptions on go routes on the year. He's doing all the stuff that CeeDee Lamb doesn't customarily do. So I'm looking at this situation. I'm looking at how they're deploying Pickens. I'm looking at how bad the defense is. I'm not going to say he's going to finish as a top 5 receiver. I'm not going to say that once CeeDee Lamb is back. I'm not going to say that. But I do think some of this success that we're seeing from Pickens right now can absolutely continue once Lamb is back on the field. It's going to be those 2 guys. And a big part of that is you've got one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL launching the ball. Dak Prescott is playing out of his mind. this Dallas team is not very good. Defensively, we keep talking about it. You start everybody you can versus Dallas. I don't give a shit who it is. You start them versus the Dallas Cowboys. What did Bryce have? 3 touchdowns versus Dallas? McMillan just going off. He hadn't scored all year. Then McMillan gets it going versus the Cowboys. But I'm loving the way that Schottenheimer is deploying George Pickens, how they're using him inside this offense. And I do think there is reason to be excited about this continuing to maybe a lesser degree, but continuing once CeeDee Lamb is back on the field. He's scoring. Go watch that data dump show. I broke down slant routes, screen routes, hit all the things that he's doing well, the things that he's not doing well, and how that overlaps with CeeDee Lamb and his usage. They're already talking extension for Pickens in Dallas, man. They're
really?
already talking extension of George Pickens. Now, do they do that?
How much do you think he gets, though?
If he keeps
He's
playing
got.
like this,
He's going to want 100. He's going to want 100.
He'll get Terry McLaurin plus. He'll get Terry McLaurin plus.
Because he's what, 25, 26?
25 years old, I believe. He'll get Terry McLaurin plus. So talk about GP, JRich.
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. From the moment he got traded, we were very excited. We said this is a guy who's definitely going to be a top 24 wide receiver, could be a top 18, top 12 potentially, with how bad this defense was going to be. And then they go out and they trade Micah Parsons, and you're like, oh my God, this is the worst defense in history. I mean, right, even this week, they got the Commanders at home, which at home, the Dallas Cowboys have been even better offensively than they have been on the road. And that's the case for a lot of teams, but especially for Dallas, with a 55.5-point over-under against the Commanders this week. That just alone tells you start everyone you can. Terry McLaurin potentially could be back in this game. Deebo Samuel, we'll see where he's at with his injury. And, of course, Jaden Daniels is probably going to light up this Cowboys defense. But, yeah, on the other side, you do have George Pickens, who's been balling and just playing at such a high level. And I'm so curious to see how this team looks once CeeDee Lamb is back fully into the fold and how these two players are deployed, because it seems like they're going to be utilized as co-alphas at this point. And from the very beginning, CeeDee Lamb always said that. There is no 1-2. It's 1A and 1B. And we're both number one wide receivers, and we're both going to be deployed as such in this offense. And when you have a player like CeeDee Lamb saying that, it gives confidence to George Pickens. And when George Pickens is delivering that on the field, it gives Schottenheimer even more options, Dak even more options, because that playbook is so much more open. You have CeeDee Lamb plays, you have George Pickens plays, and if both are delivering at an extremely high level, it's going to make that offense even more difficult to stop. And so I'm very excited to see what this team looks like, because the schedule does open up for them. They've played a lot of tough games early. It's opening up now. And down the stretch, this team is going to be a monster come fantasy playoff season.
Jay, the schedule, I don't even really care, because the defense is so bad. Like, it's so bad that offensively they're going to be fine, regardless on who they play. Regardless of who they play, offensively the Cowboys are going to be fine. They've got a fantastic offense, and what's so impressive is they're doing it with a revamped offensive line. They're doing it with a completely revamped offensive line. They don't have CeeDee Lamb. Jake Ferguson is catch and fall. I mean, he is catch and fall Ferg, but he's scoring a lot of points. Once Lamb is back, I do believe that the deployment of Pickens and Lamb together will still be good for fantasy. Lamb's the top dog. Like, I'm not here saying that Pickens is going to take over and Lamb is hitting the back seat. CeeDee's still the top dog, but we'll see. We'll see how the ankle is once he comes back. We'll see if there's any limitation whatsoever. Listen, everything feels good in practice till you get on the field and you got people hip drop tackling you, shooting and aiming for your injured, your ailment, the thing that's hurting you. We'll see how it all plays out, but I'm loving the deployment and the usage of George Pickens. I don't know where let's do a little would you rather Pickens. That's been
give me a second.
That's been a good one. I have not looked. I don't look at where they are dynasty wise. I don't know where his value is. I would take a guess that he's probably sitting somewhere wide receiver 15-ish right now in dynasty.
Okay, you're not too far off. So George Pickens, for the record, is 24.5. So he's even younger than we both thought he was. And he is wide receiver 18 right now in Dynasty. Yeah.
I don't know about that, JRich. I thought
It's
he'd be a
pretty-
little higher. Thought he'd be a little higher than that. Well, who do we got? Who do we got? Let's do a little would you rather, George Pickens.
All right, so would you rather George Pickens, currently Dynasty wide receiver 18, would you rather George Pickens or Xavier Worthy?
I'll take GP.
Okay. Now, do you factor in an extension in Dallas for George Pickens when you do this would you rather?
Just right now, I'd rather George Pickens. Just right now, off the cuff, no thought, no contract, no extension, no tags. If you sent me George Pickens for my worthy, I'd press accept, and I love X.
Would you rather George Pickens or A.J. Brown?
George Pickens, no doubt about it.
Would you rather George Pickens or Marvin Harrison Jr.?
George Pickens.
Would you rather George Pickens or Rashee Rice, who's returning this week?
Okay, now you're tugging at the heartstrings a little bit. Would I be crazy to say Pickens? Would I be crazy to say George Pickens?
A little bit.
I'm gonna say Rashee Rice, but I don't think it's wild. I'm going to say Rashee Rice, but I don't think it's crazy to go Pickens. It's Rashee Rice though.
I think a few weeks ago, it's definitely Pickens, but now that Rice is back, why are you selling your Pickens for Rice? I would just wait and see what Rice has because we think he's gonna be really good. George Pickens or Garrett Wilson? Been dogging Garrett Wilson all offseason, dogging that Fields.
We've been dogging that Fields, and it's been 100% accurate outside of one damn game and then a run versus Miami. It's hard to look at that Jets situation and feel like it's getting better. It really, really is. And I'm going to say George Pickens, and it has nothing to do with Garrett Wilson's talent. I think he's one of the most talented wide receivers in the NFL. The situation is just awful. It's awful. It's awful. And I don't think it gets fixed with Fernando Mendoza. I don't believe it gets fixed with Garrett Nussmeier or Dante Moore at the 101 spot in 2026. I would take George Pickens.
George or Brian Thomas Jr.?
BTJ. I still
really okay. You're
Joe
still
Hendry,
okay with
believe.
BTJ.
I still believe. I still blind hopium, but BTJ should have a 50-something yard touchdown. It got called back because Hunter wants to be in the neutral zone. So I would still take the number one target earner in Jacksonville over Pickens.
Yeah, Brian Thomas Jr. this season, not great, but past two games, 90 yards, 80 yards, and a touchdown. So he's slowly getting it going. Him and Trevor Lawrence are finding their form. Would you rather, last one, because I think this is a good one, George Pickens or Nico Collins?
That is a good one. That's a good one. I'm not gonna pander to the audience. I think Nico's awesome. I mean, he was literally the trusted Trinity guy 101. 101. When no one in the world believed in Nico Collins, you know who did? Oh, GQ. Me, JRich, got receipts on record. I would probably take George Pickens right now over Nico Collins. I would move my Nico to get my Pickens in a plus, and I'd be fine. I'd be totally fine with that deal. I don't give a damn what y'all think about the name and all of that. I would probably trade my Nico to get Pickens plus, which I probably should be able to do. So give me GP.
Yeah, and I actually agree with you here. I mean, the last 2 weeks are, a conversation for a lot of people as to where we're at on this Houston team. They've played Tennessee. They beat them 26-0. They played Baltimore. They beat them 44-10. And in those 2 games combined, Nico Collins had a combined 130 receiving yards and 1 touchdown with only 11 targets. Now, again, one was a massive blowout. You could argue that both were massive blowouts. But this week they play Seattle. Do you think he can find success against this Seattle team? Because I personally think it'll be tough sledding for him. For a guy who only has 1 game that's 100 yards. He has a 79-yard performance, and every other game has been 52 yards or less. Now, he does have 3 touchdowns in his last 5, but I still have some concerns about Nico. I have a lot of concerns about the offense, especially against the Seattle defense.
Yeah, I just have concerns about Houston's offense in general. They look great versus Baltimore. Everybody looks great versus Baltimore besides the damn LA Rams, apparently.
Yeah.
If I had the womp womp sounder, what a letdown. What a letdown. Nico has 2 good games. You change your mind real quick. What is this? That's what makes a market. GP has been without a top 4 receiver the last few weeks. GP is a must sell. Yeah, I mean, that's what makes a market. That's what makes a market. I don't really care what, Nico, I'm not paying for past production. I'm paying for what I believe is happening right now and what's going to happen moving forward. And I don't really think it's up for debate, even with CeeDee Lamb. This offense is light years better than the Houston Texans offense. Light years. So if you're telling me I'm getting high-quality pie, but he's only getting 23% of that opposed to 30% of a bad pie, I'll take the good pie. I'll take the good percentage. I'll take the throws from Dak Prescott in an offense that's top 5 in the NFL. You know, that is what makes a market. And yeah, I would sell you my Nico Collins to get a Pickens plus, no doubt, 100%.
Yeah, and I tend to agree with that. So in terms of like rankings, right, would you rather Tedor McMillan or George Pickens?
Just production-wise, just production,
Dynasty,
I'll take George Pickens.
If you want.
I would take George. I'm taking Pickens. I don't give a shit about the value. I don't care. Hey, if y'all ain't been watching the show I could care less about what you think, who's the more valuable asset. What are you doing for me right now? What is your current environment? I'm betting on Dak Prescott over Bryce Young. I'm betting on the Dallas Cowboys offense over CJ Stroud. I don't know the OC and the Houston Texans, who have looked putrid offensively outside of one broken play a few weeks ago for Nico and what they did versus Baltimore. Like I'm looking at what's happening on the field. All of this dynasty value and what I could trade him for next year, that shit's irrelevant, dog. Like, it changes every 2 weeks. The market shifts on all these players. 2 weeks ago, Brian Thomas Jr. was chopped liver. Now it's easy BTJ over George Pickens. 3 weeks, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's so fickle in the game that we play, and it should. It should. I don't give a shit about priors or what they did last year or how much of a dog they have in them. Like, what are you doing for me right now? What's happening in the right now? Right now, man, like we're talking about the third overall scorer. Yes, CeeDee Lamb is not on the field, but I just went through what Pickens is doing that CeeDee Lamb didn't do well. Like, those are the ways that Pickens is winning are routes and areas in which CeeDee Lamb does not get deployed. So I do think that there will be continued success for him, even with CeeDee back on the field. And that doesn't mean every week he's going for $170 and 2 touchdowns, but he's capable of that because he's got Dak Prescott.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that's basically where you'd call it. You got Rome Odunze next. You got, other top receivers. George Pickens has been great so far this year. But let's get into your next love, because it does tie in with Monday Night Football, where your Chicago Bears got a big win over my Commanders, because Jaden Daniels decided to fumble at the end of the game. And that really, really screwed up that prediction for me. But you wanted to touch on a receiver for Chicago that you think is ascending right now. And I did want to point out that we did hear the report of DJ Moore going and being hospitalized in Washington after the game. He's dealing with a groin injury and is labeled as day-to-day currently. But what do you think is on the rise for Luther Burden, who's coming off maybe his best performance so far this season? 4 targets, highest of his career, 4 receptions, 51 yards. Where are you at on Luther Burden?
Yeah, I'm loving a little bit of Luther Burden III, man. This was a player that I wanted my Cowboys to draft in round 2, not in round 1. I was like, hey, get him in round 2. We'll be real happy. We needed another receiver. They trade for Pickens. Everything works out well. But I'm watching him. I'm watching him in the game. He's got juice. He's twitchy. He's quick. He's fun to root for, JRich. And I don't know what DJ Moore's contract situation is. I know that Olamide Zaccheaus dropping damn passes that he probably would have scored a long touchdown in that game doesn't help out. His route participation wasn't extremely high, 39%, right? But it's a step up in the right direction. Their bye was early in the season, which I don't think that helps out as well. It was early. But to see some increased usage post-bye, you want to see that. I like Burden. This is one where if somebody has him in your league that's not like a truther, where it's Luther Burden over everybody no matter what, I don't think the performance was so big that he's unobtainable. He'd be one of the younger rookies that I'd be willing to pivot into. Can I move one of these underperforming rookie running backs and something else to get a Luther Burden? Can I make a pivot? I like what we saw out of the bye for this player in an offense that still feels like it's trying to figure it out, get it going. Nobody really did anything from the pass catchers in that game for Chicago. Rome Odunze had a nasty touchdown called back. That would have been nice, but he kind of busted. 2 catches, 30 yards. Moore didn't do much. Komet didn't do anything. Loveland got a couple of targets, but I do like Luther Burden coming out of the bye and moving forward. I do think he'll get more integrated in this offense. I love it.
Yeah, and I think if DJ Moore misses any time, like that's where Luther Burden could be a huge asset. Because even last week, right, I went to Fantasy Life. He only played 22% of snaps in week 6 to DJ Moore's 97, Rome Odunze's 98, Olamide Zaccheaus 86%. So, and he still led the team in receptions and had the most receiving yards of any receiver. The only one who had more than him was, of course, DeAndre Swift. So you start funneling some of that opportunity his way, and all of a sudden you have a guy who's probably going to be pretty productive and has a pretty stable floor. So we'll see what happens with DJ Moore. Hopefully he doesn't miss too much time, but like monitor that going into week 7, because if he does miss this week, he's a very startable asset going forward. But let's transition to what you hate, Ray, because you talked about a rookie receiver, and the rookie receivers have been all right. You know, McMillan got going this week against your Cowboys, but there's 2 rookie running backs that we are, I mean, I think I'm with you on this. Absolutely fed up with.
We're going to go to break. We're going to go to break. We're going to go to break. I need some, GQ needs some water over here, JRich. We're going to go to break, and then we will talk about some rookie running backs that, JRich, I hate it. I hate it, dude. So we appreciate y'all being in the building. If you're new, we have a good time every time. Hit the thumbs up button. Like the stream. We'll be right back after the break. Appreciate y'all being in the building. This is Wake Up with Ray and Jay every Monday, every Wednesday, and Friday, even when I'm on vacation, man. I don't miss the stream. I can't miss. We love y'all. I'm looking around, man. There's a lot of JRich. There's a lot of good scenery out here, man. Mrs. GQ is looking fine over here, JRich, over here in this swimsuit. I'm ready. Yeah, hit them air horns from Mrs. GQ, JRich. We can't show y'all what's going down, but I appreciate y'all being in the building. Check out today, what's dropping? Trinity's dropping today, JRich?
Trinity will be dropping later today, yes.
Special Trinity show
two-parter
today. Scott did his own sort of 40-minute episode analyzing usage from week 6. I did my own. We did not talk to each other. So 2 people using the tool, the best usage tracker in the fantasy football game. Make sure you check that out over on DDFFB. And I'll be back in my home studio on Friday or Thursday night, Friday. More college football stuff dropping. I dropped a mock last week, sort of a piece going into college football on Saturday. I'm ramping my 2026 content up, and got a lot of good stuff that we're working on behind the scenes as we get into rookie draft season. So come be a part of the community. Join the squad through Patreon, through the website. JRich, what else we got, man?
No, I was laughing because Ricardo just said another child on the way.
Hey.
Did you ever get snipped?
I sure did. About 2
years
you did?
Ago.
Okay. 2 years ago. So that ain't happening. We're all clear. Clear right here to we're good. No kids.
We can stop you there. We can stop you right there.
We're good. No children on the way, JRich. Let's get into these childlike running backs that aren't doing well. They're not doing well right now. TreVeyon Henderson and RJ Harvey. Hit the sounder, JRich. Hit the sounder. Your boy. My boy.
Do you want me to give you a really sad story right now?
Go ahead, Mag. Go ahead.
So, everyone knows I love TreVeyon Henderson.
You do.
Right? And so I ordered his jersey in August. Thinking, okay, it'll be here for the start of the season. It gets delayed. Ray, would you imagine? It finally shipped yesterday, and I ordered it like August 7th or 8th. And I could not care less, bro. I don't even want to wear it. I'm not going to wear it on the show. It's going to stay in the closet. I may not even take it out of the bag that it comes in. I may try and actually send it back to see if I can get my money back. Like, Bro, I could not be less excited for that shit to come in the
Hey,
mail. And I ordered it months ago.
Hey, man,
It's crazy.
I'm going to start ordering the basic team jerseys. Just like 99 and it just says Cowboys on the back. I got all these Micah jerseys. They're not worth a damn anymore.
Oh, Micah,
you gotta be careful with ordering jerseys or just get throwbacks. Get old player jerseys. You just got to get a Tom Brady.
Just gotta get me a
you
Tom
a Randy
Brady,
Moss throwback. That way it just.
I used to have a Randy Moss, actually.
Just get throw. You can't get these rookie running backs, Jay.
They're unstartable. They are unstartable. It doesn't matter how bad Ramondre is. And would you believe Mike Vrabel has the audacity, Ray, to say the team's running backs might be focusing too much on ball security. You don't say Ramondre focusing too much on ball security because he keeps fumbling the damn ball away, losing us football games. Aren't you the one breaching ball security? Aren't you the one telling him, hey, dude, like, you can't fumble or we're going to lose? Like, what kind of a quote is that? And I love Vrabel. He's doing a great job.
Yes,
but,
yes,
like, come on, man. This is your backfield, and they stink. And you have an MVP caliber quarterback right now who's playing the best football he may ever play in his entire life. He's been so good. And we can't run the football at all. But RJ Harvey stinks, too. He can barely even get on the field. It's crazy.
I'm watching on Sunday, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe they're just going to deploy him as this pass catcher. Like, he's just going to be, if he doesn't touch the ball in the backfield, if he could just catch the ball 6 times a game, I'd be happy. But he had like 4 catches, right? 5 targets, I think 4 receptions, a couple of yards. You can't start him. You can't, like, you cannot start him. We're still waiting on Basil Tootin. He ain't done shit. Woody Marks, you know, we'll see how that still lasts.
Yeah, we had that 1 week, right? But they had the bye week, and Nick Chubb's probably going to be the guy once again. Like, we'll see.
Probably going to be the guy. J.K. Dobbins is absolutely the guy. He's top 10 in yards, top 5 in rush attempts. Like, he's the guy. He was the one that we should have been drafting early and on. I've got some best ball teams where I went Harvey Hendo as my top 2 running backs. Harvey Hendo is the top 2 running backs. And right now, JRich, you know who should be the rookie RB1 rest of the way? Who should be the rookie RB1
be Genty,
rest
right?
of the way?
Who am I forgetting? Oh, well, Judkins. Yeah, Judkins could be. It could be Judkins for sure. No.
Rest of
Hendo,
season.
Hampton,
Rookie
Harvey,
RB1,
Judkins.
not Genty.
Oh,
not Judkins.
Yeah, maybe Skattebo, but come on.
I know. I knew you were gonna be dismissive. And I'm just, the one thing about me, Jay, I call it how I see it. I'm not one to stick to the priors when new information comes about, right? How could Scat not be the rookie RB1 rest away? He's game script proof, okay? Doesn't matter if they're up. And I know versus Philly, he was not very good for 3 quarters. He was just okay, right? He got in the end zone, but yardage-wise, he didn't have a lot of yards. He had like 2 touchdowns going into the 4th. But yardage-wise, he was sitting at about 40 yards throughout the whole game. But in that final drive, you know what? They just keep giving him the ball, JRich. It does not matter. They're just going to keep giving it to him. And at some point, the defenses are like, damn, man, I got to tackle this motherfucker again. Running like this, I got to do this again. And in the 4th quarter, like the final 2 drives, he ripped off a couple of big runs, get him close to 100 yards. He's matchup proof. He's got a 13% target share out of the backfield. I knew you would be a little even when I said it yesterday with Harmon, he was like, I don't know, man. Why not? Why not?
I just hate the schedule. Like, it's so tough.
So I talked about, dude, I think that's all bullshit, Jay. Like, it looks
really? Really?
Hold on. It looks tough
Bullshit.
on paper. Coming into the season, it looked like a schedule that was going to be so hard. I'm looking at it right now. They already beat Philly. He scored 3 touchdowns versus
at home. They beat Philly. Sure,
I get you.
Okay.
I don't think that the schedule is as daunting as we thought it was coming into week 1. I don't. Not for him. I don't think it's going to stop him. The biggest impediment that I thought was going to be his problem was when Tracy got back. Maybe they throw him the ball. Maybe Tracy's been back and they just use Scat. We're giving the ball to Skattebo. I know right now it's like, can he? Look at this Raiders situation. Genty gets the ball a ton in a bad offense, right? Judkins is a phenomenal dynasty asset. He's a dope running back. But you know what the Pittsburgh Steelers did to Cleveland? We don't believe in Dylan Gabriel. We're going to make life tough for Quinshon Judkins and dare you to beat us over the top with Dylan Gabriel, and they can't.
Yeah.
Scat's going to touch the ball. If I had the cow set, he's going to touch the ball 20 times a game. And even coming off of a week where he had a bad fumble versus the Saints, I'm like, oh, man, you can't do that. They turn right back around on Thursday night and load him up with 20-plus touches. How is he not the front runner for the rookie RB1 rest of the season right now? He's already the damn RB12, 16.6 points per game.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see, right? Like, he's been very good. 13.9, 24.1, 13, 14.4, 31 in that Philly game where he scored the 3 touchdowns. It's not a whole lot different than Genty, right? Genty, since he kind of broke out, 33.5, 15.9, 16.6, you just have that slightly higher floor with Genty because there's just a little bit more volume there. It's not a bad take. I still don't like it personally because, again, like, I hear you and I understand where you're coming from. But I just simply cannot look past at Denver, at Philly, versus the Niners, at Chicago.
The Niners without Fred Warner. Without Fred, that's a big loss. That's a devastating loss.
It's a very big loss, but they still have a great defense, and I still think they're going to give New York some trouble. Especially, I think Saleh knows how to play against Russian quarterbacks, and I think he'll have a plan. But as you mentioned, without Fred Warner, it's a massive loss and a big hit to their team. And so it's how they navigate this stretch for me. Once they get past there, they have the Bears, they got the Packers, who, again, I think LaFleur will give them some fits. Lions, Patriots will be tough. But then the playoff schedule, Commanders, Vikings, Raiders. That's a joke. Like, sure, maybe the Vikings will be tough, but you have 2 easy matchups in the Commanders and the Raiders in which he can absolutely take advantage of those games. But it's this next 3-4 game stretch and how they navigate that, because I think Genty's going to be a little bit higher in terms of floor, but I totally agree with the take. Like, the good thing for Skattebo was he caught 6 passes in that Saints game.
He's got
and that's his calling
target
card.
Share. He's got a 13%. And this, I don't disagree with folks that say his running style, it's not going. What does everybody say? Oh, he's not going to last long running that way.
Yeah.
You know who else runs like that? Ashton Genty. I don't hear people saying that shit about Genty.
For sure.
And
he's been doing it all year.
Let's just call it ace and ace and a spade. Skattebo won't last because he runs like a madman, but Genty will. Make it make sense when they both play a physical, violent style of ball. And if you wait until this 5-week stretch is over, Jay, and he is good throughout, I'm not saying he's great and he's the RB1 and he's scoring 3 touchdowns a game. But if he's good through this stretch, there is no buying him. It's over. Like, his price would be way too high. There is no buying him. I just think this idea of some of these defenses that we had coming into the year for the Giants, like, the reality is I'm not afraid of Philadelphia. I'm not saying these are easy. I'm curious
how they respond, right? That's the question for me, and where I am worried is how they respond in this next game in 2 weeks, right? Because the Denver matchup for me, it's a write-off. Like, I do not want to start Dart. You can start Skattebo if you want, but like, understand what you just saw happen to Justin Fields. And Justin Fields is a god-awful quarterback, but he's also played in the NFL a lot. And imagine what's going to happen for a team that has 30 sacks this season is going to do to Jackson Dart. It could be a problem. And that's where it's not that I have issues with him. And I honestly think if you buy a Jackson Dart or a Cam Skattebo off this Broncos game, if they really, really stink it up, it's a good idea. But I am a little bit hesitant because I'm curious to see how they navigate this stretch of what could be very tough defenses.
Judkins gets Miami. And I'm telling you, man, if Scat were number 2, if he didn't have that ugly number 44, I don't give a damn about John Riggins. Y'all don't even know who he is. But if he had a dope number, if he wore number 0 like Gibbs, if he wore number 2, if he had a cool number, aesthetically he just doesn't look good, man. At 44, he's short. He wears no kind of arm sleeve. It's just, he's out there.
White 44,
fullback. White 44, right? Just give him 4 and you feel a little better. Remember Jacobs, how bad he played in Las Vegas with that big-ass jersey? He gets a form-fitting jersey, and now he's a hammerhead shark out there. I think
that number 8.
Looking at Scat and what he's doing, man, I think a lot of people just he's a lot of you like him if you have him, and if you don't, people probably do not like him. They're like, I don't like this guy, but he's producing, man. He's producing.
What would you do with Skattebo? Are you in, like all the way in, buy and hold no matter what? Or would you say that there will come a point? Because this is the whole conversation around him from the beginning. You said you draft him in the second round because I don't give a damn about anybody else. They will not have as much hype if Cam Skattebo hits. Today we're here now. It's week 7. Cam Skattebo is hitting.
Where's he at?
He's RB16. He's RB16. Damn. He's not much different than when we talked about him on Friday because he obviously had Thursday Night Football, balled out, talking about him on Friday. Came up a little bit. So there's Henderson, Breece Hall, Jacobs, Kyron ahead of him. But, like, would you hold and continue to watch the ascension, or would you potentially cash out at some point in the near future?
Sure. Y'all know how I play. I'll sell anybody. I think anybody for the right price can be moved. But I'll just say this. I do not believe that they're going to pull his usage back. I don't believe that he's going to cede work to Tracy or Singletary outside of the occasional breather.
Tracy did nothing this week.
He's probably concussed after like his 3rd carry, but he could just fight through it. And this has been how he's played since his JUCO days. So nothing is changing. It may not last long, but we could say that about any receiver on any player in the NFL on any given rep, on any given snap. Right now, it's working and he's balling. So of the rookie running backs that I dislike, I absolutely love what he's doing, and I do think that he should be in consideration for the rookie RB1. I actually would just say he is the rookie RB1 rest of the way. I'd have him ranked over all the other rookie running backs. And I love Jenkins, and he's got a dope matchup here versus the Miami Dolphins. He should absolutely smash. Yeah. The Raiders team is a joke. It's a mess. Genty's being fed the same amount of work. I think he's the rookie RB1 rest of the way, Jay. But let's continue to move on. Where we at? A love? We got a love?
We're at a love. This was
get a love.
This is a little bit surprising, Ray. A little bit out of left field.
A little out of left field for you?
We do this show 3 times a week. We've done it for a long time. We never talk about this team because they're so irrelevant for fantasy purposes. But talk about your next love.
JRich, I want to give some love to the Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver, DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf, over the last 4 weeks, he's like wide receiver 5 in scoring. 18.6 points per game. It's like Puka, George Pickens, Amon-Ra St. Brown, the only ones higher. Over the last 4 weeks, he's outscoring players that we love, like a Emeka Egbuka, JRich, and this was prior to Sunday's game. And if you trust the Trinity and you follow the dots, and I talked about it on the show with Matt Harmon, I talked about it last night for the members, there's only been one wide receiver to do more for their team as far as air yards, target, first downs. Only one receiver over the last 4 weeks who's done more wide receiver shit for their team than DK Metcalf, and that's Drake London. The only wide receiver who's done more. His Trinity score in usage is number 2 overall, higher than Jackson Smith and Jigba. There's nobody else. I mean, you look at Pittsburgh's, it's him and it's Darnell Washington. Pat Freiermuth, non-existent. Geno Smith doesn't do anything. There is no wide receiver 2. It's not Roman Wilson. It's not Roman Candles. It's not the Roman Empire. It's nobody else. It's DK Metcalf, JRich, and he's not doing it with huge volume. He's just getting all of what's happening in Pittsburgh, and he's getting the downfield stuff from Rodgers. I think this is something that moving forward, we could see him play even better moving forward. So I just wanted to give a shout out to a receiver that nobody really talks about. We didn't quite, everyone, I don't know about the landing spot. You just move off of Pickens and then you get DK. He's been really, really good for us in fantasy football. Big shout out to DK Metcalf. Love him moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even just look the last 2 weeks, 95 yards on 4 receptions, and of course that big 126 in London against Minnesota on only 5 receptions. And you pointed it out. He scored a touchdown in each of the last 4 weeks. And guess what? Tomorrow he plays Cincinnati on Thursday Night Football. pretty sure I'm good with DK Metcalf in that matchup, right? Like this team, for everything that it's not, and they're not scoring a ton of points, but Rodgers is getting the ball to his guy, and DK Metcalf is delivering on that. And that's why all offseason we talked about Metcalf as like a player that, yeah, he's not going to gain dynasty value, but like he's the only guy there. And they made that financial commitment to him, and Rodgers clearly likes him and trusts him. And so I'm totally with you. I mean, the last 2 games, he's averaging almost 24, or actually probably over 24 yards per reception.
It's crazy.
Which is
insane. Which he can do that. He's good down the field. He's good after the catch. That's what he does. If the volume increases, I do believe that the fantasy points will continue to trail the usage. And there are reports they're looking for another pass catcher. Until it happens, man, you keep firing up that DK Metcalf with full and total confidence. JRich, I see some people in the chat saying that after the Trinity show, a couple of people went out and traded for him last night. So there you go. Good. And then there is a comment here. It's not updating on our end, but I'm on YouTube. Cam Skattebo or Marvin Harrison Jr. rest of the season, JRich?
It's Cam Skattebo, and I don't even think it's necessarily that close.
It's not even,
I mean,
you didn't even hesitate.
Jonathan Gannon already said that Kyler's the starting quarterback when healthy, and that's just hasn't been very good for Marvin Harrison Jr. And Skattebo's probably going to get you at least 13, 14 points a game on kind of a bad week. Okay.
Well, let's keep it pushing, Jay. We got a couple of more left. Let's kind of get through these, so we can head to the beach, man. We got to get to the damn beach, JRich. Hate, and they get a bye week. Probably
I don't care. They suck.
Buffalo Bills offense right now. What is going on? What is happening with the just not a good performance against the Falcons defensively? Drake London got to do whatever he wanted against them. It was BK, have it your way day against the Buffalo Bills. Offensively, after the Keon Coleman fourth quarter explosion, he's done absolutely nothing since then. Dalton Kincaid randomly out of the game, just out, hurt. Josh Palmer injured. Khalil Shakir is what he is. James Cook, no targets in the receiving game. Like, what is... Bills fans, talk to me, Jay. But what's going on in Buffalo? Offensively, this team, man, it doesn't feel like we're getting the same high-flying Bills offense. It feels a little stale and stagnant right now.
I mean, it's pretty simple the way I see it, Ray. Week 1, Baltimore Ravens defense. Not too hard to put up points on them. Week 2, the Jets. Week 3, Miami. Week 4, New Orleans. These are the worst teams in the NFL right now. They have a combined 3-21 record amongst the 4 of them.
Say that again.
The Buffalo Bills' first 4 opponents, the Ravens, the New York Jets, the Miami Dolphins, and the New Orleans Saints, a combined 3-21 record on the season thus far. These are arguably the 4 worst teams in the NFL right now. Now, of course, Lamar Jackson is hurt, but from a defensive perspective, all these teams are atrocious. They didn't look good against the Saints. Then they lost to New England, who, again, looks better now, 4-2, playing well. And then they went out and they lost to Atlanta. And the biggest takeaway with that Atlanta game, that offensive line is struggling. And Jeff Ulbrich, and everyone's talked about this, blitzed Josh Allen on 71% of dropbacks. And think about the best quarterbacks in the NFL. What do you not do to Patrick Mahomes? You do not blitz him because he will destroy you. You do not blitz Lamar Jackson because he will crush you if you blitz him and he gets loose. And it's very similar with Allen. He's turning the ball over. The offensive line is really struggling. And it's James Cook or bust. We've always said this about the Bills. They have Khalil Shakir. He's a fine receiver. They drafted Keon Coleman to be this X receiver. He's been awful. He hasn't found any success. They got Josh Palmer. He made some plays. Now he's week to week with his ankle injury. So there's no pass catchers there. They tried to trade for Amari Cooper last year. Didn't work. It's Josh Allen. It's James Cook. And that's it. And teams know that. And if you can stop James Cook from busting loose and going for 100 on you and letting them play more complimentary football, you just go back there and tee off on Josh Allen the whole game. And yeah, he'll break some runs, but he got sacked, 3 or 4 times in this game, forced multiple turnovers. Like, the Falcons defense played great football against him, and he's the MVP of the league. That's not something that's easy to do, and the Falcons make him look like just another average quarterback out there, which credit to Raheem Morris, that defensive line is playing much better, but this Bills offense, if they don't figure it out over this bye week, they're in big trouble because they go to Carolina. After that, fine tune-up game, but then they got to play Kansas City. And if you're asking anyone who watched this past week who's winning that game, the answer is Kansas City. Even in Buffalo, they're winning that game.
I'm looking at the chat. I'm not big on trade speculation and rumor, but DJ Moore, Jerry Jeudy, potentially. Do you think either of those players would help Josh Allen, Moore or Jerry Jeudy, if a trade were to happen?
I think those players can help, but we've kind of seen throughout the years that midseason trades, they can benefit a team, but I don't know if you can just trade a player and then go to a team and be like the one there. Maybe it's possible in Buffalo because there just really isn't a lot there right now. But
what about AJ Brown to Buffalo?
See, I think they know how to utilize AJ Brown. Because then you just keep Keon Coleman out of the offense.
AJ Brown's getting traded, right?
I don't think so. I don't think if you're Philly, what's the point?
I'm seeing more people say because Roseman's a wheeling deal. Like nothing's changing with the offense this year. He's disgruntled. Sure. He's unhappy. Can they get something for him before? I'm not going to say it bottoms out. I think he and Moore are for real on the trading block. I don't know about
Moore probably should be traded. Like Moore because they don't need him in the offense. And Chicago's not they're not going for a title. They're trying to win games, right? And if they believe they can get something for DJ Moore, they should definitely trade him. But I think Philly's different because while yes, we know that they don't necessarily need AJ Brown, I just don't know if like trading him for a 3rd round pick is worth it. You know, he still has a big contract, so he's not going to go for a ton. Maybe he will, and I'm wrong. But, like, is trading a 3rd round pick worth it? Because then Smitty's your one, and teams can really key on Saquon Barkley. And then you got Jahan Dodson, I believe, is still their number 3. So then he's your number 2 receiver, and that offense is, like, not scary at all. When AJ Brown's out there, at least it's a threat to say, well, he could get 100 on us if we don't cover him, right? But if he's not there, all of a sudden you're saying, well, how scary is that Philly offense without A.J. Brown? Even if he's not doing anything, he's still a threat if you see him running down the field.
Ike in the chat, he was the MVP, and now he needs more help. That Josh Allen needs more help now.
I'm not saying he needs more help. I'm just saying this offense sucks. Like, it's just not a good offense.
Why did they not throw the ball to James Cook? I just don't. Who's calling the play? Who's the damn OC there?
Do you want to take a guess?
Is it Joe Brady?
It's Joe Brady, the guy that everyone thinks needs a head coaching job. Joe Brady, and he can't seem to figure it out right now. They play respectable teams, not even teams I would say are good teams, not even necessarily I'd say playoff teams, in the Patriots and the Falcons, and they get slaughtered by the Falcons, and the Patriots walk into Buffalo and beat them. Like, it's just not a good team right now. But we'll see what they look like after the bye, I guess.
Swim said the Eagles can't trade A.J. Brown. Their run would be over. I don't think A.J. Brown has anything to do with the run right now, currently, that the Eagles are on. Because offensively,
it's just his threat. It's just literally his threat that defenses have to account for, but they don't actually utilize him.
All right, JRich, last one. Let's get to some love. Let's get to some love for rookie tight end and play a little game of would you rather, because he's probably quite high, or just talk about how high he should be ranked. And this rookie tight end, I told folks, JRich, no matter what, you draft Tyler Warren. I don't give a damn.
Yep.
No matter what. And Tyler Warren has been phenomenal to start his NFL career. He is exactly what the Colts needed. He has helped Daniel Jones ascend to another level as well, to probably earn another contract. He's playing like one of the best, if not the best, tight end in football. I was very careful with talking about Tyler Warren throughout the draft process. Like, hey, I don't want to say he's going to do what Brock Bowers did, because you don't want to just put those expectations on a rookie. But he has been everything we, at least some of us, hope for and more. There was a lot of debate about him versus Colston Loveland. It's not even a debate right now. He's probably a top 3 tight end dynasty-wise on KTC. Bowers is set to miss more time. I believe he's on pace to put up similar numbers as Brock Bowers right now this NFL season, in an offense that has more around him than the Raiders had around Brock Bowers last year. Is this the tight end one in Dynasty? Yeah, like, I don't want to cop out and be like same tier. F that. Would you take Warren over Bowers or McBride right now? Like, just gut feel, instant reaction based on what we've seen so far from Tyler Warren?
I think that at this point you have to. I don't know how you could take a Trey McBride or a Bowers today over a Tyler Warren. Like if you're drafting right now and you're like, I want to get that elite tight end, right? And as you mentioned, a lot of people have all these guys in the same tier. But the guy you're actually probably going to draft is Tyler Warren because Brock Bowers is hurt and the offense is awful. And we haven't even really seen him be great in this offense outside of like one game. So while we know he's a great tight end, and I think the problem for me really is like McBride is a good tight end, but what is his like, are we still buying into the ceiling of McBride with Kyler? Like without a QB switch, I don't know if he's going to be that much better than he's been, and he's been great, but like you kind of already hit on it, Tyler Warren already has more yards right now than Trey McBride does, right? He's got more yards than Jake Ferguson does at tight end. He's actually he actually is leading all tight ends in yards right now, right? And I think that's what I'm willing to buy into. He's utilized down the field. He's got 40 targets, which is third in the NFL, only behind Ferguson and McBride. He's looks like third as well in receptions, but first in yards with only 2 touchdowns. And I think those are receiving touchdowns, and he's got the rushing touchdown as well, so he actually has 3 total touchdowns, and it's the utilization within the offense. So you think about a team in Indy that's currently 5-1, playing great football, and probably only going to get better as time goes on, and he's already performing like a top 3 tight end. Why can't he be even better in the second half? And I think that's my point to kind of pump up Warren and why I think he's tight end 1, because McBride is kind of doing what he's always done. Ferguson he's doing it, but we don't necessarily expect that to continue once Lamb comes back. So if you're asking me Warren or McBride, for me, it's easily Warren because I think there's still room to grow within the Colts offense, and they're putting up a ton of points right now. And you just can't see that from Arizona. And then with Bowers, great tight end. If you want to take him, I'm fine with it. But he's not healthy right now, so I just don't know why someone would draft Brock Bowers over Tyler Warren.
This has got the chat buzzing. There are a lot of takes. We've got a lot for Warren as the top dog. We've got a few McBrides still as tight end 1, and we've got some if you could trade your Warrens for Bowers, laugh to the bank and do that. I'm looking at the usage right now between these guys. JRich, last year through 6 weeks, Brock Bowers' Trinity score 6.48, and through 6 weeks he was scoring 13.7 fantasy points per game. Okay, remember this: 6.48, 13 fantasy points per game through 6 weeks. Right now, tight end wise, Tyler Warren, his usage score 6.77, 14.1 points per game. So he's right there in line.
Very similar
with what Brock Bowers was doing at this point last season. Okay, so hey man, he's good. He's good. He's very good. And if I had to pull the trigger on one right now, I still think I would have Bowers as 1, but I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to argue Tyler Warren as the tight end 2 if we were redrafting. I wouldn't argue it.
Yeah. I mean, they got the Chargers this week, another fine matchup for tight ends. Like, we're going to see. But yeah, this Colts team is playing so well. I think it's funny because if they weren't playing so well, how good is Tyler Warren is kind of the question. Like we look at Trey McBride and we say he performs regardless of the situation. He's always going to be getting his targets, his receptions, very dependable in that way. And it's kind of the same thing for Brock Bowers. He just always performs. And we haven't really seen them face a whole lot of adversity. But every game he's got 3 receptions. He's got 4 receptions in 5 of 6 games. He's got 6 receptions or more in 2 games already. He's got touchdowns in 3 straight games. Like, I think Tyler Warren is still cooking to be even better than he's been. And again, the schedule for the Colts is a joke because they were so bad last season. So it opens up pretty good for them as well.
Oh yeah, don't get impatient on that Loveland. I don't think he and Loveland are even in the same stratosphere as far as production or value. JRich, we had a couple of super chats. I want to pull these up on the screen before we get out of here. One from Jesse. Appreciate you, Jesse. Hurts for Lamar. 2 QB league, 4 points per passing touchdown. Have Josh Allen 6-0. Would you trade Jalen Hurts for Lamar Jackson?
Probably. Short and long term, I think you're probably going to come out ahead.
Again, fantasy points wise, Hurts has been just fine.
But Lamar has been better.
Lamar's not even playing, and he's on an awful offense.
But
right?
he'll be back though.
I hope so. I sure hope so.
It's a bet. It's a bet, but I think if both were healthy, but if both are healthy, the answer is by far Lamar Jackson.
Take Lamar. He's 6-0.
But do you think today it's a pivot? I think it's a good pivot.
Yeah, if you could get out of Hurts and you've got Lamar and Josh Allen as your quarterbacks, that's especially if he's 6-0 and doesn't need the points, I'm fine with it. Yeah, make the deal.
Unless you really think that Hurts and this offense can turn it around, but I don't know, man.
I don't know about any of that, but I think Hurts will be fine for fantasy, even if he's not good for the receivers. All right, shout out to Justin, $20 super chat, man. Said, enjoy your vacation. Been a patron member since early 2022. Love your content. Appreciate you, Justin. Thank you for the support. Love that you watch the show and you find value out of what we do. So, started a little late today, so we had to run a little bit longer, JRich, but that is the show. Jay Grizz is saying, when's the next live show, fellas? Jay Grizz, Friday, baby, Friday. We'll be back in Texas, so we're back at it on Friday. JRich, anything you want to say to people before we get out of here today?
No, thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you to you, Ray, for making it work on vacation. I know the people appreciate it, so big shout out to you. Big air horn for you. Thank you to the fam. Love the fam, as always. But yeah, we'll be back on Friday. We got Bleach Report tomorrow, so that'll be fun. Making all of our picks, which I'm sure will be a doozy with the way this NFL season is going so far. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Make sure you like and subscribe. And, of course, we'll be back on Friday. So tap in. Enjoy Thursday Night Football. Cincinnati Bengals and Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers going to beat them down, right? I think they're going to beat them down.
Yeah, we shall see. Flacco was fine. Flacco was fine for our Bengals on Sunday. So you got the music rolling, Jay? Hit the music so we get out of here.
I got the music for you.
Hit the music. Turn that shit up, baby. We appreciate y'all. Like, comment, subscribe, podcast feed. Trinity drops later today. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the love. And we'll see y'all bright and early on Friday morning. We are out. Peace.
Peace.